Hey everybody, it's me again, Brenna, you remember from before? Welcome back to my channel. I got a real video for you guys today, and I know you read the title, and I know you're thinking, you're insane! Well, I am. What's that got to do with anything? I'm right! I'm absolutely right! I hope you're ready to have your fourth eye opened. That's right, fourth eye. Your third eye, if it's not already open, you're not even going to be able to comprehend this video. Sorry. Small brains, get lost. It's time for the huge brains to gather in this room. Only gigantic universe galaxy brains are going to be able to understand what I'm talking about. I'm sure you're wondering,
you're not going to make any sense. How is Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the most prominent figure in German literature, responsible for Yaoi Hands, which are terrorizing us to this day?
How dare you ask?
When you know that I'm about to explain it.
Let's start from the beginning. In 1749, that's right. I bet you didn't think the source of Yaoi Hands was that far back.
Did ya?
In 1749, Gerta is born in Germany. Congratulations. Congratulations on being born. But should we really be congratulating you? Gerta is a dude. And then he starts writing stuff. The first novel he writes is The Sorrows of Young Werther, and everyone's like, hey, that was pretty good. I hope he writes a little more. Of course he does. And while he does, it's becoming very apparent to everybody that he has a bad case of what we like to call these days horny on Main. I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase. Think about how unacceptable it is now in 2020 in the current climate, and now imagine how unacceptable it probably was in the 1700s when Goethe was alive. But horny on Main isn't his only issue, because when Goethe is 74, he meets a 19-year-old named Ulrike von Lewitzau and falls in love. That's right. He's 74, he falls in love with a 19-year-old.
What could possibly go wrong?
It's 1823 at this point. He asks her to marry him. She says, no, old man. And she's right to say so because 9 years later he dies. You might think that that's the end. But no. Because in 1875, Thomas Mann is born.
Who's Thomas Mann?
Well, he's a man, for one, idiot, and he's also an author. He's also German, so he pretty much looks up to Goethe, who died 40 years before he was born but wrote a lot of shit while he was alive. Mann takes a lot of inspiration from Goethe. He also, in 1911, goes on a trip with his family to Venice. And while in Venice with his family, he sees a young man named Vladzio. He's Polish. I mentioned that Goethe had issues. Thomas Mann also had issues because he is totally obsessed with his kid. He's like,
damn. That's one sexy kid.
And at the same time he's thinking that, he's remembering,
Goethe was 74 and fell in love with a 19-year-old.
So why don't I write Death in Venice, which is about an old man falling in love with a young child in Venice. So he does. He writes it, and it's published in 1912. And it's about Gustav von Aschenbach falling in love with Tadzio, name sound familiar, a young Polish boy, while in Venice, and then he dies. Spoiler alert. It's in the title though, so you can't be mad at me. You can't be mad. It's in the title! So Thomas Mann publishes Death in Venice in 1912, and then, in 1971, Luchino Visconti is like, I've got an idea. Remember Death in Venice by Thomas Mann?
What if we made a movie of it?
So he does. And in that movie is cast Bjorn Anderson as Tadzio, the young boy. And he looks like this. Just remember that. And so, they make the movie, and it comes out, and where do you think it's a huge hit? I'll let you guess. No, it's not Portugal, idiot. It's Japan. You're so stupid. It's Japan. It's a huge hit in Japan for some reason. So they go there. Bjorn does some interviews, and remember that he looks like this. And so he's doing interviews, and the manga authors at the time, the shoujo manga authors, who depict a lot of bishonen or pretty boys in their manga, are like, damn, he looks like that? And so they start to draw some inspiration, okay, from Bjorn Anderson, who looks like this. One such author who begins to draw inspiration is Takabi Akakul. She was already making manga before this movie came out. But she sees the movie, and she sees Bjorn Anderson. And she goes to Europe to do some research, and then she publishes Kaze Toki no Uta, or The Poem of Wind and Trees, which is the very first manga, potentially, to depict explicit sexual attraction between two men. She also, earlier in her career, wrote In the Sunroom, which was the very first boy-boy kiss in a shoujo manga. So, remember that. Remember Goethe's propensity for horny on Main? She brings it right back. She said, I raise you this. And then she wrote Kaze Toki no Uta and pioneered the genre, essentially. So Kaze Toki no Uta is published in 1976. That one's running throughout the 70s into the 80s. Everyone's like, whoa.
We could write this gay shit the whole time.
And so they're starting to write it. But at the same time, popularity is increasing for what you've probably heard of, Duljinshi, which is a magazine for people who like the same stuff I do. It's the same thing as it is today. It's not an official publication. It's like...
I thought it would be really cool if Naruto and Shikamaru both did handstands. So I drew them. I drew a 24-page comic of them trying to do handstands.
It's basically that, except rather than Shonen Ai, which is what is popular in the market and does not depict a ton of sex, Duljinshi does. Towards the end of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s, there are more publishers that are ready to get a little horny on main, if I may say so. So it starts becoming more popular than the typical romance-centered stuff. And then we see the inception of yaoi, which you've heard of. Yaoi is a contraction word. It stands for yamanashi ochinashi iminashi, which means no mountain, no fall, no meaning, meaning no climax, no falling action, no meaning. Meaning
Just horny.
that in the 90s begins to become much more popular than it had been previously, and now it's not just doujinshi. Now you don't have to like Naruto to read it. You can just read it. Somebody made up characters just for this purpose, and now they're saying, here, look, here it is.
You don't have to know who these people are.
Now it's there. That happens in the 90s. And then towards the end of the 90s, around 98, we see the first work from, you might call, a modern legend. I don't think I would. Nakamura Shungiku begins writing manga. Her very first work is Tozando Tensi Ibun, and that, you might say, is the very first depiction of Yaoi Hands. Her more famous works come later. Those would be Junjo Romantica and Sekaiichi Hatsukoi. A lot of people know them. If you saw it, you'd probably be like, okay.
I have seen that before.
They all have gigantic ass hands, and she kind of started that trend. Her manga saw a lot of success, so I guess other authors were like, well, they got big ass hands.
I guess when I write mine, we should put some big ass hands in there too.
And now the genre has been totally infested. These days it might be on the mend, I don't know. But in the early 2000s, Nakamura Shungiku started it, and it's still fucking going. So now we get to see hands like these all over the goddamn place. Size of fucking dinner plates. And it's all because Gerta had to be horny on main and had to fall in love with a fucking 19-year-old when he was 74. So thanks for that, Gerta. Are you happy? Are you proud that you got us here? I didn't fucking think so. Oh, wait, you are? Oh, my bad. Well, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Thanks for watching today, guys. I hope you learned something, which is that you can blame a lot of people for a lot of things. And you're usually right. Yes, I did minor in English when I was in college. So that's why I'm so fucking smart. You're welcome for me opening your third, fourth, fifth, maybe even sixth eyes today. I know it's not easy to take in this much information and know so much, but somebody's got to do it, and I'm bestowing that ability to you. So hopefully in the future, you can teach somebody else to know something. For you, watching this video probably felt like watching somebody connect a red string across a room to different pictures, but for me, I know what the truth is in my mind, so I've already got it on lock. Oh fuck, the FBI's here. They're saying we know too much. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back with another video soon. Let me know if you want me to talk about absolutely insane shit again, because I would love to. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let me know how you thought of this video. Tell me how many of your eyes I opened, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!